So most people will think that Springleaf means what? Ulu ma. Correct? Because Springleaf 就是 ulu. But nobody actually think about it this way. Ulu equals what? Huh? Start now. Okay, wait. First time, stress, must drink water. Okay. 上身. Hey! 3, 2, 1. Okay guys, welcome back. My name is Veroy. Welcome to the Real Collective channel. Now, you guys will be familiar with what I usually do. That is tons and tons of home tours, which I totally enjoy. But I think I decided to do something different this time around because I realized that after sharing a lot of knowledge and education about what projects for my clients to choose, how the market is like, and as well as training my agents on project selection, how to competitively price units and stuff like that, I realized that this is something that can be beneficial to a lot of people out there. And I was thinking, 独乐乐不如众乐乐, correct or not? So I put this online so that every one of you out there can actually gain access to some of the things that I'm sharing as well as the insights. So hopefully all of you would like what I'm sharing, and if you guys like it, right, please lah, I am somebody who needs support one. So if you feel that this video is good, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I will feel very, very happy. Then I will create even more content. Yes, that's what I will do. 对，就是这样子. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys, right, about the hottest launch in today's OCR market right now. Now we had about 900 over units that sold over the last weekend, where we had a slew of launches from Canberra Residences to River Green to Promenade Peak, and that actually translated into 900 over, close to 1,000 units sold in a single day. I think that is crazy. But is it really crazy? Because when I look at something like that, right, it actually tells me something very, very clear, is that the demand in the market right now is a lot higher than the supply. Now for Springleaf itself, would this also be the same situation? And to be honest, who is going to buy Springleaf? Because the only thing that we can think about when it comes to Springleaf is what? Correct. Prata, Springleaf prata. But even for myself, right, who loves to eat, I don't even drive to Springleaf to eat prata because it feels so far, you know. Even the last few days when I go to the show flat preview, right, I wanted to go and eat the prata, but I also never go. Why? Because no parking lah. Huh? So I think without further ado, I'm going to go straight into our project overview. I'm going to share with you the whole 来龙去脉 of this whole project. Shall we go? Let's go. So at a glance, now this is actually a Guaco land project, and it has a total of 941 units, and you have 909 units spread over 5 residential towers, and you also have 32 units at a conserved building. Very, very interesting for this one. And as you go to the units breakdown, right, for 2-bedders, there's going to be 332 units. 3-bedroom and 3-bedroom flex, we're going to look at about 368 units. 4-bedders, 138 units. 5 bedrooms, 71 units, and for the conserved units, right, we have actually a mixture of 1 to 3 bedroom. Now for the land size, we actually have a square footage of 344,700 square feet. Man, I love it. I love large land plots. And the tenure of the land, this is 99 years, and the estimated TOP is going to be 2029 second half. Car parks wise, 759 units. Of course, it's not one-to-one, but because it's so close proximity to MRT station, most of the buyers looking at the 1-bedroom likely is going to be for tenancy, so they usually don't need to have a car park lot for that one. Bicycle lots, 236 units. To me, that is a sign. If you want to stay here, probably buy a bicycle lah, right? Because of the nature and parks and stuff like that. And for the show flat unit types, right, we have the 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, and the 5-bedroom. So classic Guaco, where they actually showcase to you all the layouts, and you guys can go in and see what suits you the most. Alright, so next we're going to check out the developer fly through so that you guys can actually understand what this development is like at a glance, because I'm pretty sure if you go into the show flat right now, right, also cannot see them because so crowded, correct? Come, let's go. Okay, so first and foremost, iconic development, right? From the first up, if you drive past this along the SLE, you will realize that this development will be so representative of its location with the greens and the brickwork. It kind of just integrates into the entire vibe over there. Now the grand drop-off, again, classic Guaco, very, very nice. I love the arrival court. It just feels like you're coming home to something bigger, right? grand lawn that they have. Again, a very signature move for Guaco Land. They're just very good at using the greens and playing it to the advantage of this development itself. The ECA house. How many of you out there are from the ECA era? Not me, I'm from the CCA era. Huh? Wow, look at this. Don't even need to go for staycation already. Just go and chill at the leisure pool and the wading pool. No more staycation. Save money. And from the overview, right, the drone view from the top, you will also see that the buildings are very spaced apart. And one more thing very interesting is that there are gaps in between each so-called each stories, right, to allow the birds to fly through, to allow air to pass through as well. Very nice. And from this view itself, you guys can see that we actually have a few blocks that is fronting towards the forested area, and they even put birds inside, because the truth is that over there you guys would actually get to see flora and fauna. I think this is a classic masterpiece. If you love nature, if you just want to be tranquil, I think this is a perfect place to be at. So after checking out the fly-through, what we are going to do right now is to dive straight into the site plan. And I'm going to share with you, right, some of the very interesting things that I observed with this site plan itself. And I think that having a very reputable and forward planning developer, right, actually they are able to use the advantage of the venue or the location to integrate seamlessly into the entire project. So that is why, once again, right, this Springleaf Residence is going to be a hit because of this seamless connection from the nature all the way to the project and then down straight into the accessibility and transport. Okay, now straight up. So for the facilities and site plan itself, you will realize that this is a triangular plot, not your very usual regular shape kind of plot size, which I think kind of adds to the flavor and character of this forested area. Okay, in terms of blocks wise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tower blocks as I mentioned. In addition, you also have a low conserve block over here. Now this low conserve block obviously is lower, and you have the tower blocks behind flanking it. So what would that mean for you? This would mean that two blocks over here, 817 and 819, will enjoy the most unblocked forested greenery view. I think you can see miles and miles away, right? So this is going to be amazingly beautiful. But not to worry, as for blocks on 815, 813 and 811, these three blocks would still have very good, really good benefits over here. Why? It's because right in front of you for 811, right, it's going to be the lower conserve blocks. So here you won't actually have any terms, or you won't actually have any blockage to your views itself. And for 813, I think it's kind of in the middle setback, so you still have that very open and unblocked views itself. Now, interesting thing over here, if you look at the entire site plan at one glance, in fact, the only thing that your eyes can see, right, is a lot of green, a lot of green, a lot of green. And again, I think this is classic Guaco Land as well. I say classic Guaco Land time and time again because every time we see their project, we always fall in love, right? They have actually made sure that this entire development is not going to be a concrete jungle right in the middle of the whole forested area, which I truly appreciate. Okay, facilities-wise, of course, you have your usual pools over here. For 900 over units, you need to have ample pools. You have 50-meter lap pool, you have spa pool, you have jacuzzis and stuff like that. And more importantly, you do also have a tennis court, and this is something that the recent OCR launch didn't have, which is from the Canberra Residences itself. That one didn't have a tennis court, but this one you don't only have a tennis court, you also have a playground for the kids. You also have tons and tons of lounges over there, like games lounge, chess lounge, social lounge, and all these are little small areas for you to congregate. So for the ECA house, this is going to be something like your clubhouse area, and this is housed at the conservation area as well. Now, ECA house, how many of you out there are from the ECA era? Not me, I'm from the CCA era. I realize now it's not called CCA anymore, it's called something else. I don't know what is it called. If you know, leave in the comments and let me know what is it called right now, okay? So over there, 3 function rooms as well as a celebrity kitchen where you can hire people over to do your in-house cooking and barbecue. A nice place to host as well. Now, if we dive even deeper into the facilities plan, right, on the 9th floor and the 16th floor, you also have multiple sky terraces all throughout the blocks as well. Now, what is this sky terraces for? These are actually designed by the developers to ensure that the birds can actually fly through your sky terraces in the morning, because we are located so close to the Springleaf forest. Over there, you do expect to see some flora and fauna, right, flying in and things like that. So the whole nature vibe is also being brought in by the developers. Okay, so with this, right, we will go straight into the floor plan analysis, where I truly love. I'm going to be sharing with you how you can choose the floor plans based on your needs. So from here, we're going to dive straight into the floor plans, and over at Springleaf Residences, we actually have a variety of floor plans ranging from 1 bedrooms all the way to 5 bedrooms. So first up, we're going to go straight for the 1 bedroom first. Now, a good thing to note, the 1 bedroom is only located in the conservation buildings, and there's only a grand total of 8间. So in order for you to buy this unit, you're likely going to be queue number 1 to 8, more or less around there, right? But nonetheless, I'm going to go through it with you guys, okay? So this is the 1 bedroom floor plan. Size-wise, it's going to be 388 square feet. Now, all the units at the conserve building doesn't come with a balcony, so your 388 square feet is actually your live-in space. Now, very interesting over here, you realize the 1 bedroom wall-to-wall distance is actually 3 meters. Now 3 meters, what does that mean to you? This actually means, right, you are having a very wide living area. In fact, I think today's market, right, 3-meter living dining is usually reserved for 2 and 3 bedrooms. So you can expect this to be a very roomy type of a living dining area. Now, master bedroom, you have 10 square meters. Now, simple understanding over here, once you see 9 or 10 square meters, your first thing to take note of is that it can definitely accommodate a queen size bed. Now, with 388 square feet, without your aircon ledge being built into the development and without your balcony built in, 388 square feet is pretty functional as well. Okay, remember, for this building method for Springleaf, it's not using our prefab method. Now, what is prefab method? Prefab method is, for example, you have a prefab layout over here and then you stack the next one on top and so on and so forth. So with that, right, most of the walls are unhackable because of the structural load-bearing thing behind it. But for this development, they are using the ACPS method, which means most of the walls internally you can hack. So if you look at the master and living room wall over here, this wall is actually hackable, and if you guys want to open this up into a massive studio, you can actually do that. Of course, Jack and Jill bathroom, so your guest doesn't have to go through your master to enter into the bathroom, and galley kitchen, which is pretty standard. So overall, I think this is a decent 3-bedroom layout. This is a decent 1-bedroom layout because of the 3 meter, make me think of 3-bedroom. Okay, now moving forward, for the 2 bedrooms, right, you also have the option of choosing a conserve building or the normal tower blocks. Once again, drum roll. This 2-bedroom in the conserve building also has a grand total of 8 units as well. So again, depends on queue number lah. Okay, so this 2-bedroom layout, right, is also pretty decent. You have a square footage of 592 square feet. Once again, because of the GFA harmonization rules, your aircon ledge is not being bundled into your square footage, and it doesn't have a balcony. All in all, right, this 2-bedroom may end up feeling and being actually bigger than what you have for the other 2 bedrooms in the market today. 592 square feet, 2-bed, 2-bath, guys. 2-bed, 2-bath with a dumbbell layout. So overall efficiency of the layout is fantastic. You can see for your living and dining, 3.1 meters. This is going towards a 3-bedroom layout already. And for the bedrooms, 9 square meter for your bedroom 2, queen size bed. 11 square meter for your master bedroom, king size bed. I think more than sufficient. And again, because you don't have a balcony on this side, your 592 square feet is all live-in space. And guys, you have 2 attached bathrooms. So 2-bed, 2-bath, 2 attached bathrooms, and you have a very wide living and dining area, L-shaped kitchen. The overall layout is super efficient, and you also have a very private entrance foyer, meaning to say when somebody comes and walk past your main door, they don't actually get to see directly into your living room over here. Now, this also gives a lot of privacy. If today you have a very good queue number, this is definitely a unit I would go for because it's very rare. Entire development, only 8 units. So when it comes to the resale market, when you guys want to put it up for sale, this is also very, very good choice as well. Okay, moving forward to the 3-bedroom, which we also have at the conservation building, all right? Okay, so what we are looking at right now, this is the 3-bedroom conservation stack, and this is 1,119 square feet. Once again, by now you guys already know, aircon latch not included. You also don't have a balcony, which some people like, some people dislike. I think it all boils down to your overall lifestyle choice. My personal take, I do like my balconies, right? But because this is kind of laid out in a way where you're very close to nature, so maybe not having a balcony, but you can see the greens, right? It makes you feel very connected to the nature. So maybe no balcony also okay lah, right? But let's see. Okay, looking at this, I think this is one of the layouts for 3 bedrooms that we don't see. We have never ever seen, frankly. Okay, so let's take a look. When you come in through the entrance, you have an entrance foyer over here. You have a powder room. Wow, powder room leh. Powder room means you made it in life already. Okay, so powder room over here. You have a super duper long and wide living area, 4.3 meters by 7.8 meters. I think the amount of space that you have over here is massive. Now, I love the fact that right next to it, you have an enclosable kitchen. Sorry, it's an enclosed kitchen. Left and right kitchen cabinets and storage, tons of countertop space. And after that, you do actually have a service yard as well. Service yard with a glass window opening. Not like some of the service yard in today's market where they say it's a service yard but it's actually just a space. This is a proper service yard right over here. Okay, next to it will be the master bedroom, massive 14 square meters and with your master attached. And what I like over here is that your wardrobe space is tucked away behind so that it doesn't jut into any part of your master bedroom, and this gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of your furniture planning and stuff like that. Okay, 2 other bedrooms over here, 9 and 11 square meters. Nothing much to talk about, but basically you would know that in terms of efficiency and space, it's really, really good. Now, my only concern with this particular unit type, right, at 1119 square feet is that it doesn't really have enough space for a storeroom. There is no inbuilt storeroom over here. So opportunities and threats, right? So the only thing I would probably complain a little bit about this layout is that the lack of a storeroom over here. Because when we look at a 3-bedroom, usually we want to have a storeroom because likely you have family, you have kids, you want to put your luggages and you put your barang-barang, right? But this one doesn't have an inbuilt storeroom given for you. But what you guys can do, looking at this corner over here, this is possibly a place where you guys can create an extra storage. And I think even after putting in this storage, right, you will still have ample space for you to roam around. So I think this is still pretty okay. Now, the next 3-bedroom, which will be the CC2, which is also located in the conservation building. Now, it comes with a more regular-ish layout, more squarish layout per se. And this, in terms of square footage, is 1259 square feet. And this is the only unit type in the conserve block that comes with a balcony. Now let's take a look. Okay, so looking at the layout itself, again, massive wide frontage. You have a 5 by 9 meter, close to 6 meter depth in terms of your living area and 4.3 meters width in terms of your dining area itself. This creates a very, very open space for you to do your furniture planning and space planning. Looking at the bedrooms, wow. Bedrooms, 10 square meter for your common bedrooms, more than sufficient. You have a massive 12 square meter plus 8 square meter walk-in closet, a total of 20 square meter master. Wow, looking at the walk-in closet, I think a lot of clothes also no problem. Your wife can also put their bags, also no problem. And one thing over here is that the balcony actually stretches from the living all the way into your 3rd bedroom and all the way into your master bedroom as well. This part, I think some people may like it, some people may feel that it is probably not so necessary because this balcony takes up about 20 square meters. The only thing is that I find that the depth of the balcony is a bit shallow. 1.5 meters essentially, right, you can't put in a proper dining set. So it is likely that this area, you guys can possibly put up some zip tracks to enclose this portion and make this part of your live-in space. In terms of outdoor al fresco dining, probably a little bit hard, but maybe a coffee table, you want to sit there and watch birds, I think maybe you can do that as well. Okay, looking at the kitchen, you have also an enclosed kitchen, L-shaped. WC for your helper, and then you also have a service yard right over here. Okay, again, another potential threat on this portion would be likely the 3-bedroom having a helper's bath but don't have a helper's room, right? You can possibly enclose the service yard area to make this into a helper's room, but again, I think it might be a little bit challenging for this particular layout. So hit and miss, I guess. Some of you guys may want to let your helper sleep in one of the bedrooms, which I think is awesome, but if not, can consider reworking the yard space to make it into a helper's room. Overall, very squarish layout, no wastage of any walkway. Every part of this floor plan itself is being utilized properly, so you are not paying wasted space for your 2,000 plus per square foot lah. Okay, so this is what we have for the conserve building, and now we're going to analyze the actual tower blocks, the 2 to 5 bedrooms. Shall we? Let's go. Alright, so now we are going to go into the tower blocks, and for the tower blocks, right, you have more to talk about. So bear with me. I'm going to make it as interesting as I can, and I love looking at floor plans, right? So now we go straight into the 2 bedrooms where we have 332 units over there for sale. So it is very clear that developers also understand what consumer wants today, where in the past probably people will be more used to investing into 1 bedrooms. Now 2 bedrooms is the hype these days, and developers also increase the unit type counts for the 2 bedrooms. 332 units, taking up 35% of this entire development. Now let's look at the floor plans and which one you guys should be choosing. Okay, so we have the 2-bed 1-bath, which is for the conservation, just to recap, and you also have the 2-bed 2-bath right now, which is for the tower blocks. 646 square feet, again, classic 2-bed 2-bath. I would always recommend, if you can and it's within your budget, go for a 2-bed 2-bath, because this gives also a longevity in the stay. Most people end up, they tell me, hey Veroy, that time I buy a 2-bed 1-bath because it's within my budget, but I realize cannot because my wife cannot share toilet with me, then my friend come and use my toilet, pee all over my toilet bowl, then you're too, okay, you're not happy, right? So 2-bed 2-bath generally has more longevity. Now looking at this floor plan itself, nothing too fancy, but minor touches to make it really wise and smart. Classic guaco. Dumbbell layout, you don't have actually a corridor that is being eaten up by your square footage. So 646 square feet, with a balcony and without your aircon latch as part of your strata area. So this is fantastic. 10 square meter bedroom for your master, 5 square meter master bathroom, pretty standard. What I love is this part. Your 2 bedrooms. Your 2 bedroom over here, right? Your 2nd bedroom, it comes with a Jack and Jill. So once again, this gives 2 attached bathrooms, and then again, I think this is just very, very good layout planning lah. 2 attached bathrooms at 646 square feet, fantastic. You have a 5 square meter balcony, 1.5 meter, pretty decent as well. Over here, living dining 3.1 meter. Again, what I love Guaco has actually done is making the living room as wide as square footage possible. 3.1 meters, super generous. Now, kitchen. Why I left the kitchen for the end of this analysis is because you realize your kitchen is kind of recessed into the nook over on this side, right? And this allows you to have the opportunity to glass up your kitchen if you want to keep your fumes within the unit itself. Now, practical wise, right, even if you choose not to glass it up, having your kitchen recessed in allows the fumes to be kept away from your main living and dining area. So I think that's pretty wise. And over on this side, you realize there's this empty corner over here. This is another opportunity for you guys to create some sort of shoe cabinets, some sort of storage over here to increase this amount of storage that this 2-bedroom has to offer. Again, hackable walls. So if you want to buy this 2-bedroom and make it into a massive 1-bedroom, right, you can also do that. Just bring down one of these walls and suddenly you have a 5.7 meter wide living and dining room, which is like a 4-bedroom type already. So fantastic, right? The next 2-bedroom type that we have over here, 讲错, I should have thought about the smaller one first. Never mind. Okay, so this 2-bedroom, right, is 527 square feet. Now this is going to be a 2-bed 1-bath. 2-bed 1-bath. Okay, so 1.5 meter wide balcony, 4 square meter, Again, the dumbbell layout as well. Now for the living area, this one is a little bit narrower, 2.8 meters. But in terms of the width of the living room, it's still pretty decent. 4.7 meters itself. What I love, again, the master bedroom, you have a Jack and Jill kind of concept. Again, you don't have a second bathroom, but still okay because your friends don't have to go in through your master bedroom to enter into your master bath. Again, this portion, galley kitchen, pretty standard. So this is a very typical kind of a 2-bed 1-bath layout. But imagine this 2-bed 1-bath layout in an exceptionally done, in an exceptional project. It will make this 2-bed 1-bath layout shine lah. Okay, so after understanding the 1 and 2 bedroom for the conserved and typical layout, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the price points to be taking note of so that you guys know whether you should go for 1, 2 or should continue watching to look at the 3, 4, 5. Alright, so 1 bedroom, official guide price from developer, $887,000. Now if you go all the way up to the upper limit, right, it could go as high as 1.08 million. For the 2-bed 1-bath, this is actually going to be the typical units. Starting from price will be 1.07 mil to the upper limit of 1.37 million. Now for the 2-bed 2-bath, again, we have the 2 different type of layout. One of them would be the conserved layout and the other one would be the typical layout. The conserved layout, in terms of the starting from price, which is the 592 square feet, starting from price 2050 per square foot, starting from 1.21 million all the way up to about 1.539 million for a 2-bed 1-bath in the conserved stack. As for the 2-bed 2-bath typical unit, the largest 2-bedroom that you can find in Springleaf, starting from price about 1.32 million to the highs of about 1.67 million. Right, again, these are projected prices. It may not end up being so high, but frankly, if I were you, if it actually hits somewhere around the 1.5-ish range at a 2-bedroom, I may want to reconsider my options. Now, I'm not going to share with you what options are there, but because this is a video about Springleaf, but at 1.5 million, I might be more comfortable placing my money somewhere where I can actually get a 3-bedroom instead. Okay, now going to the 3-bedroom, let's go. Alright guys, so now we're going to go straight into the 3-bedroom analysis. This has a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layouts with a total of 368 units. You all know where the developer is going already, right? They know for sure that this is going to have a very high homestay demand, and I've loved the fact that they have actually made the 3 bedrooms so varied, so it kind of suits in for everybody's pocket. Okay, so let's look at the 3 bedrooms, 786 square feet. Wow, sounds very small, huh? But actually it's not about the size of the square footage. I always tell my client, right, it is more about the efficiency of the layout. I give you 1,200 square feet, you can also find small. How come 786 square feet people can still accept, right? So looking over here, 786 square feet, first glance, dumbbell layout. Dumbbell layout, no corridor space. Essentially, you save quite a number of square footage over here already. Living room, wall-to-wall distance, 3.1 meters. Again, this is solid. Gives you a really good distance between your sofa and your TV. Wow, the depth of the living to the kitchen is 7.7 meters. This is just very, very long. Okay, this is definitely enough for you, don't worry. Okay, but one problem, I won't say problem, but one thing that people may nitpick on is that with a 3-bedroom unit type, you only have an L-shaped kitchen and it's also not enclosable or it's not enclosed. Now, some people may say that you can actually draw in a glass door over on this side to enclose the kitchen. Well, I guess you can, but if you enclose this portion, right, you kind of eat away a lot of your living and dining, so it might not be the wise choice over here. Then again, right, for 786 square feet, what I think would be suitable for a buyer's profile, right, maybe a couple, no kids, or couple with 1 dog, 2 dogs. I think this kind of layout may be suitable. Having 1 kid, also possible, but again, we find that there is a lack of a storage over here, so that may be a challenge. Now, where can we create storage for this layout? Over here. At the entrance here, you have some space, creating some shoe and wall cabinets or bookshelves over here. It is possible. In terms of bedrooms, nothing much to talk about. 9 square meters, 11 square meter master bedroom. So all in all, 786 square feet, right? You have most of the things that you need to have. Now, if you are more luxurious in that sense, you want to make this a 2-bedroom, massive 2-bedroom, right? Then you knock down this part lah. You knock down the bedroom 3, you now have a 5.7 meter living and dining area, and you have this super huge area over here which you can do a lot of things. So overall wise, 786 square feet, it may not be the most suitable for big families, but couples with dogs or couples without kids, definitely suitable. So next up, we go into the 3-bedroom 818 square feet unit type. This is interesting. Now, looking at this 3-bedroom unit type, 818 square feet, this is not your this is more of your traditional layout. Don't have a dumbbell, right? And I know after talking to so many clients, right, some of them actually prefer to have a non-dumbbell unit. So this one actually suits very well. 818 square feet, no aircon ledge, again, balcony decent size. You have this privacy entrance when you come in. Right, so people, when they look into your main door, they cannot see directly into your main living dining area. The usual wide width and depth, very good. Again, you have an L-shaped kitchen for this one, but the difference is that you have a window over here. In fact, for this layout, you have windows at your kitchen. You also have windows for your common bathroom as well. 3 bedrooms lined up the traditional way, 9 square meter, 12 square meter master bedroom with your attached bathroom. Overall, nothing too much to nitpick about. Traditional layout, you have a deep living and dining area. Enclosable kitchen, you can actually enclose on this side lah. Right? Again, up to you whether you want to do it. For me, I believe if I buy a layout like that, it's likely I won't do too much of a heavy cooking. If I'm very hungry, I just go to Springleaf, eat prata lor. Okay, now next up, we go to the 3rd type of bedroom, which is the 3-bedroom flex. 3-bedroom flex. So we are looking at the 3-bedroom flex, and this flex is not flex because you got the ability to buy over here. This flex is the flexi room that you can have that can double up as a study or can double up as a storeroom. Entrance coming in, you have privacy. People don't look directly into your living dining. You have a wet and dry kitchen. So the 3-bedroom flex is the point where it starts to become more interesting, where you have wet and dry kitchen, where you have that extra storeroom coming in. Okay, don't talk too much about the bedrooms already, pretty standard. 8 square meter, 9 square meter, 12 square meter. Nothing much to talk about over here, but focusing on the flex room. So this one, you actually can hack down this part of the wall to create an open study if you want to, or you can close this up to make this into a helper's bedroom or even a storeroom itself. In terms of living dining, depth and width, similar, 3.1 and 7 over meters, so very deep living and dining area. Interesting thing here would be this private foyer, which we have seen for our other 2 bedrooms as well. So overall, a very good entry into a proper 3-bedroom flex, 3-bedroom study or 3-bedroom storeroom, depending on how you use it. That's the flex portion, the flexibility of things. Okay, so we finished the 3-bedroom flex, the first type of 3-bedroom flex. And guys, there is a total of 5 types of 3-bedroom flex. And I'm going to show you guys the main differences because it doesn't make sense for me to go, oh, this is the bedroom, it's the same. Okay, so I'm going to go straight into what's the main difference. Let's go. So the next 3-bedroom flex, right, is actually the 926 square feet. And if you guys look at the floor plan very carefully, you of course have the usual bedrooms, wide and deep living dining area. But what's the main difference over here is this portion. Can you see? This portion, as you come in, you do have a longer private foyer. And some people, again, they do like this, but don't forget, right, it is from 904 to 926. So that is about 22 square feet. 22 square feet multiplied by 2,200 per square feet, right? So you can roughly know, you buy something like that extra, about 40 over 50K. For what? For this portion. This portion, some people will like it because you have more privacy. You can build more carpentry over here. All right. Now, from the 926 square feet, the next trade up is also a 926 square feet, but this is also a little bit different. So comparing my 926 square feet, which is the C4, I'm going now to the C5 unit type, and you realize for this one, you don't have what they call in Chinese the 玄关, right? 玄关 means you don't get to see directly into the unit, which some Chinese usually like. For me, I mean, I also have a 玄关 for my house, so depending on what you guys like, right? This one comes in straight, you get to see your wet kitchen and your dry kitchen itself. Also 926 square feet, but this portion also longer, and you can build some carpentry on this side. Now, next, from 926 square feet to the next up is the 958 square feet. 904, 926, 958. All give a little bit of upsize. Difference 在哪里呢? Okay, 958 square feet, this particular stack, you have a very long 玄关. You come in, this side can put shoe cabinets, this side can put a low console, put some photos, this side can put mirror, full length mirror and stuff like that. And then when you walk in, tada, you get to see your whole living dining area, wet and dry kitchen. Most parts of the interior layout, like the bedrooms, the flex and the bathrooms, right, not too much of a difference, but it's mostly on here. So this portion. Okay, now from 958 square feet, the next trade up will be the major difference already, which is going into the home shelter. But before we go there, you guys must be having this question. Hey, Veroy, then like that, right, from 906 square feet, why do I want to buy the 958 square feet leh? Correct or not? Because some people find that this is a waste of space, ma. Some people like it to go in directly, ma. Then why do I want to buy the 958 or the 926? Why don't just go straight for the 904? Also the same, also got flexi, right? My answer to you is queue number. If your queue number is very good, of course you can choose whatever you like lah. So it is a combination of your queue number as well as what's available, as well as the price loading. And this is a big 学问 when it comes to the actual selection. Guys, I can tell you for a fact that when this is going to be launched and for booking, right, the entire hype is going to be there one. So you guys got to choose and pick your prices carefully and choose your stacks carefully. So it's very important. I always do an analysis on how to target which unit, and then when we are looking at the screen, oh, so, then we pivot, okay, go for this particular stack. So, pivot, go for this particular stack. So it has to be a balance lah. So my answer for you is, unless you have a personal preference that your feng shui master say you cannot have people see directly into your kitchen, then you got to go for the 958 or the other type of layout of the 926 square feet lor. Okay, now the next trade up for this flex unit will be the 3-bedroom flex plus home shelter. Let's take a look. Alright, 3-bedroom flex plus home shelter, a grand total of, okay, not bad lah, this one got 81 units. 81 units, right? So let's look at the layout together. This one, I think most of us will be able to accept it because it's a 3-bedroom flex plus home shelter. So essentially 3 plus study lah, then plus storeroom some more. So 1023 square feet, we are already reaching the very, very acceptable or so-called publicly acceptable square footage for most people already. This one, you have an even deeper living dining area. Remember just now our 3-bedroom flex is 7 over meters. This one you have 8.25 meters. 很大leh. Okay, so you come in, again you also have a powder room. Wow, make it in life. Come in straight away, got powder room. Again, also have privacy because people don't see directly into your unit itself. Wet and dry kitchen, right? And then from here going in, you have a household shelter. Don't have to sacrifice your flex room to become a storeroom. Use the home shelter as a storeroom itself. Bedrooms wise, 9 square meter, 9 square meter, 11 square meter for your master, sizable. You have this flex room which can work well as a study room. Overall wise, I think this will be a very popular stack. Again, depending on what's the starting from price, which later on we'll break down for you guys, alright? And moving forward from this, 1023 square feet, what's the next one? Small trade up. Trade up to a 1076 square feet. So not a lot, but again, fulfills the objective. Okay, so this particular unit type, you have a long corridor at the entrance. Again, privacy. Some people like it, some people don't. Personally, I am about efficiency. So this portion, I mixed feelings about it. But of course, here, storage you can build, Here, storage you can build. Again, is to just create more storage space. Moving into the unit itself, overall not much of a difference. You can see as with our 1023 square feet, this layout itself, everything from the living all the way to the bedrooms, pretty much the same. Okay? Alright, so we're going to break down the prices for you right now for the 3 bedrooms. And again, 3 bedrooms, there are a few types as I mentioned, but I'm going to loosely break it down into the 3 bedroom compact, 3 bedroom conserve, 3 bedroom flexi, and the 3 bedroom plus home shelter. Alright, so for the 3 bedroom compact, right, at 786 square feet all the way to the 808 square feet, starting from prices, right, will be as low as 1.61 million, right, to the upper limits of as high as possibly $2.1 million. So 3 bedroom compact, starting from 1.61 all the way to about 2.1, right? So this is for the 3 bedroom compact. For the conserve, it comes with a larger square footage, 1119 square feet and 1259 square feet. Now starting from price is going to be at 2.2 million all the way to the upper limits. If they actually get there at 2.9 million, that will be at 2006 per square foot already. And for the 1259 square feet, it will start at 2.5 million to the upper limits of probably 3.2 million. Now again, the question over here is, at that price point, what other options can you guys look at, right? So think about it. So for the 3 bedroom flexi, remember that is the one with the flexible storage or study area. Starting from price for the 904 square feet, 1.85, starting from price for the 926 square feet, 1.89, and starting from price for the 958 square feet, 1.96. And from here, if we go up to the upper limits of each particular category, 904 square feet are likely going to be looking at about 2.3 million. 926 square feet, likely about 2.4 million, and 958 square feet, about 2.49 million. And as for the 3 bedroom flexi plus home shelter, starting from price, very, very sweet, starting from around 2.097, and the 107 square feet will start from 2.2 million from the starting from, and to all the way to the upper limit of around 2.6 to about 2.7 million. Right, so if we look at this, right, it is very clear that the conserve unit blocks, right, would have a premium associated with them. And again, how should you choose? Really, it depends on the queue number and also what is your lifestyle looking at. Okay, now with that, we're going to go for the highly coveted 4 and 5 bedroom. Let's go. Alright guys, so we are here right now looking at the coveted 4 bedroom unit type, and this is 1227 square feet. Personally, I think that the 4 bedrooms are very, very chill, and the 5 bedrooms also super chill. Okay, but let's look at why I think this is so chill. Because it has everything that you need. It has also a powder room, and let's take a look. Coming over here, your entrance, privacy, right? Powder room over here for your guests. And then coming into this side, super deep, oh my god. 9.3 meters by 3.2 meters. Super luxurious, right? And then you have your dry kitchen and your wet kitchen area. And you also have your home shelter right behind, right next to your wet kitchen area. Now this obviously can, some of you guys out there use as a helper's room. But if not, right, this can also be a dry pantry. So very, very functional. So coming onto this side, looking at the bedrooms itself, 9 square meter, 9 square meter, 9 square meter. Don't have a bedroom that is smaller for your least favorite child per se, okay? But what we do have also is a junior master where you have a Jack and Jill concept for your bedroom 2, right? Bedroom 4, bedroom 3, this wall on this side is hackable. So if you are again looking for something more luxurious, hack away this wall to make your living a wide angle, and now you have a super large living, dining, and a wide angle kind of layout over here. Okay, master 12 plus 4 square meter for a walk-in closet. Overall, nothing much to complain. Good thing over here is that this is also, some of the units will have this full greenery facing, and for some of the blocks, if you get a high enough floor, you will actually clear the conserve building, and again having that unparalleled crazy greenery view of the Springleaf forest. So, 极爽一下啦吼. So looking at our 4 bedroom type, the second type, which is the D2, this is 1227 square feet. The main difference over here would be your entrance, where you see directly into your dry and wet kitchen itself, powder room at the side over here, but nonetheless from there, right, everything else is pretty similar as well. Again, depending on your queue number, choose what you like. Okay, starting from prices for the 4-bedroom, developers have quoted guide price of 2.448 million. Again, very sweet spot. Of course, you may say that in the OCR location, wow, 2.4 million, 哪里可以买, right? But we have already seen in the market right now, there is nothing that has such a strong transformation story, something of this quality, something of this layout with MRT and with this kind of finishes at this kind of price point. So I believe the 4-bedroom will be also a very popular stack for Springleaf itself. And of course, it can go as high as 3.19 million. 3.19 million. Now again guys, if you were to reference back to the conserve building, if the conserve building actually hits the highs of 3.2 million, then obviously it makes a lot of sense for us to go for the 4-bedroom instead. Okay, so with this, let's go and check out our last and final floor plan, which I think you will love, which is the 5-bedroom. Okay, so this is the 5-bedroom layout, a total of 1,453 square feet, and I think you guys would love this. Okay, I'm going to give you my inputs and I'm going to tell you what to look out for. Coming in, you have a private entrance. Again, here, privacy, home shelter, and also a powder room itself. Now, looking at the main living and dining area, you have full-length window at the dining and then balcony at your living area. And this kind of forms a single loading where good wind flow can pass through this entire area. Now, imagine if you buy a unit facing the Springleaf forest, when the wind flow comes in, wow, tell you don't need to on aircon already, shook. Then right next to it, you have a little bit of a dumbbell layout where your junior master is on the left side, so you don't have a super long corridor for a 5-bedroom, and the rest of your other 1, 2, 3 and the 4th master bedroom itself is actually to the right hand side of the floor plan, and this kind of gives a bit of a space efficiency. Again, some people may argue, you know, that you have a corridor wastage over here, but it's no choice because for a 5-bedroom, you usually have to have a little bit of corridor space that is being given to tuck away the bedrooms. So this is bo pian na, huh? Okay, bedroom size wise, nothing much to complain. 12 square meters for your junior, 9 square meters for your 3 other bedrooms, and a 16 square meter for your master with a walk-in closet itself. Now looking at the wet kitchen. Now one thing I maybe feel a little bit not sure about is that for a 5-bedroom, you don't have a wet kitchen, you don't have a dry kitchen area, so you only have a wet kitchen. So you have an L shape here and an L shape over here, and I think that the lack of a helper's room may also pose some form of difficulty when it comes to navigating this layout. Of course, you can use the home shelter on this side, which if you go and look at the show flat itself, right, they actually designed this home shelter as a helper's room. But the only concern that I think practicality wise, right, people may think that this one I put a helper inside, very funny, every time entrance people will go past my helper. So that part, I think mixed feelings about it. But other than that, right, this 5-bedroom, nothing much to complain about. Alright, next up, the next one 5-bedroom. Okay, so moving to the last and final layout, which is the type E2 for the 5-bedroom. This is the largest in this entire development, 1,475 square feet. And again, I'm going to not talk about the rest of the layout because this portion, again, very similar to the older 5-bedroom. Only difference over here is that your 玄关 is a bit different. So the previous one, you have a shorter L. This one is like a longer L. So the L is this side. Instead of the previous 5-bedroom, the L is this side. Understand? Right. So overall, the extra square footage of your 20 square feet or 22 square feet comes over here. Everything else is the same. Okay, now price. Let's go. For the 5-bedroom, price 3, 2, 1. For the 5-bedroom pricing, starting from price will be at 3.01 million, all the way to the highest if they actually launch it at 2,006 per square foot at 3.77 million or 3.8 million. Now, if this is something within your budget point, I think the 5-bedroom will be a very, very rare unit type because in terms of unit supply over there is also pretty limited. And this would definitely work very well for those of you who are right sizing from your landed into something within the same landed enclave, right? But you don't want to have the hassle of going up and down the stairs or managing too big a space, but still have enough open spaces for where your grandchildren come and visit. This is a good home for you guys to consider. So floor plan, that's all we have for you. Now let's move on to the next segment. So now with regards to the location and accessibility of the Springleaf residence, so most people will think that Springleaf means what? Ulu ma, correct? Because Springleaf 就是 Ulu, but nobody actually think about it this way. Ulu equals what? Tranquility. Ulu equals peaceful. Because you hear a lot of people say, if I want to stay in Orchard Road, right? I like the connectivity, but I find it's very noisy, very busy. Then you feel like you go home don't have 没有家的感觉. So for Springleaf itself, I would say that now is Ulu, but eventually I would think that it will be a very residential and very homely kind of vibe. Now in terms of location, this project itself is a 2-minute sheltered walk to Springleaf MRT station, and in terms of driving and accessibility, you get quick access to the SLE and Upper Thomson Road. Now interesting thing over here is that we are being surrounded by 4 parks. We have the Springleaf Nature Park, we have the Upper Seletar Reservoir Park, we have the Lower Seletar Reservoir Park, and we also have the Thomson Nature Park, all within a 13-minute cycle. And that is why developer also provided about 200 over bicycle lots for you guys to cycle everywhere that y'all want, okay? Actually, like that should call Spring Park Residence because so many parks. Okay, anyway, so this location I think is great for nature lovers. If you are all about Orchard Road shopping, cosmopolitan living, then probably not so suitable lah, right? But as I mentioned, most people when they look at home and location, right, even in the town area, they want something that is in the hustle and bustle but away from the crowd. Yeah, so this location itself, I would say right now, going in as the first mover, right, you would just feel that this is super tranquil and super peaceful. Maybe after getting used to this location, you would not want more developments to come out over there, but sorry to disappoint you because that location is going to go through some form of major transformation where we actually see government rezoning some of the land plots to increase the amount of residential plots over there, signifying that there is some sort of demand, which I'm going to be sharing with you later on as well. So, the key question to ask yourself now is, shut up and take my money, or shut up lah. Correct. So, why shut up and take my money? Why I will buy leh? Now, I find that having direct access to MRT station is a huge advantage for this location, and it's the only project over here within a 1 kilometer radius that has such form of amenities and theme and superb layout. And again, right, within this location itself, you are buying a CCR developer in an OCR location and an OCR price tag. So to me, this is like a big shut up and take my money. In addition, right, this is also the largest plot on this entire area and it's at the fringe of Springleaf Forest, which gives you unparalleled privacy. This is also one of its kind in terms of the eco concept with real biodiversity planning. What do you mean by that? It means that the developers actually put in extra effort to think of how the development will integrate nicely with the surrounding nature, factoring in how the birds will interact with the space, how the building will integrate with the greens and stuff like that. Okay, and of course this conserved building concept gives a lot of character, and the amenities and facilities within that plot itself will give a very strong future resellability. Last but not least is of course Guaco Land's assurance and quality in trust. As I mentioned, buying into a CCR location with a OCR price tag, with a CCR finishes and quality, this is super rare. But why I would say shut up leh and move on leh? Because some of you out there, you guys are looking at earlier TOP date, and with a TOP date of 2029, it can be a little bit challenging, especially most of the target audience that we are seeing from the market are usually upgraders. Now that would mean that you guys would have to sell your place first and then do some form of rental, which would also kind of inconvenience you guys in terms of the overall lifestyle and such like and things like that. So for buyers with this kind of concern, obviously shut up, move on, right? And also, I think the immediate thing and concern for a lot of people out there would be the limited retail spaces, limited commercial support. If you want to get something for the earlier part of your stay, it's going to be like Punggol where you don't have a lot of stuff until Waterway Point comes up, right? So this is going to be very similar to that. Imagine if you want to go and buy Uniqlo t-shirt, you got to take a train down to somewhere to buy a Uniqlo t-shirt, or you want to eat your favorite bak chor mee. That side don't have bak chor mee yet, only got yong tau fu and Springleaf prata. So you got to eat prata your whole life, meh? Cannot, ma. So in terms of food accessibility, this is probably a reason why buyers will avoid lah. Okay, next thing would be the density. For 941 unit in a forest concept development, I would expect it to be even lesser units. Again, I'm not complaining, I'm just probably nitpicking why I think this is a shut up moment. Alright, so if 941 units, I probably want lower density, maybe about 700 or 600 over units. I think that would fit well really nicely with the whole forest theme project. So the next shut up moment will be your premium pricing in this location itself because of the eco positioning, right? With a location with not that much lifestyle hubs per se, buyers would be concerned of entering at a higher premium. So same thing, falling back to the price matrix, could there be prices out there where you can enjoy more lifestyle, more amenities, but at a similar price tag? So buyers would be definitely comparing with some of the surrounding developments or the upcoming developments moving forward. Last but not least would be your return on investment as well as your ROI per se. Depending on your investment matrix, some of you guys with a sufficient yet limited budget, you guys may want to put your money in locations which are more proven in terms of demand, which has lesser supply as compared to somewhere in Springleaf where it's not really proven yet and the demand is still a big question mark. Alright, so now for the final verdict. So, to me, right, this development definitely has several good pointers. Right, being situated in this location of transformation, buyers with sufficient yet limited budget will find that putting their money here would probably prove to be one of the safest choice. How, of course, if you are an investor per se, please don't expect immediate returns after four years of your SSD, especially if you guys are going for the smaller unit types. There will be some time needed for the transactions over there to gain traction and for you to start to see some strong capital upside. Right, and then from there, right, so fast you all start to call me already, good. Okay, so for buyers who are buying for your own stay, I would think that location over here is fantastic for you. There is definitely a long-term sustainability in terms of the layout, in terms of the facilities itself. So you guys would definitely enjoy your stay here for a very long time. So for those of you buying for own stay, I think this portion is already addressed pretty well. Guaco Land has also consistently proven itself as a developer of quality homes. And with quality homes, quality finishes, buyers won't have that issue of lama, I want to move on already leh, I very sian, I want to change house and then cannot sell. So I believe you guys would definitely have enjoyable stay in this development. In terms of amenities and so-called facilities, that will take a little bit of time, which I again believe with our upcoming land plots, it will definitely add on new amenities for you guys to enjoy. Pretty much like what Punggol is back then, where the first movers go in with nothing much, but after a while, it becomes one of the best locations to live and invest into. Now, having the MRT station with the Thomson East Coast Line gives you accessibility to many parts of Singapore, and having the CCR developer of Guaco Land planting their feet into this OCR location, that also means that you would enjoy the CCR location finishes and quality in an OCR location with an OCR price tag. Right, there's so many things that I can continue to go on, and I think the last but not least is for those of you out there who are thinking and sitting on the fence for this project and wondering what's in the pipeline moving forward, and you want more clarity about the market, as usual, please feel free to reach out to me or like and subscribe to my channel, because this would really encourage me to continue to put out even more higher quality production and education empowerment for you guys. So if you guys like my video, please like, subscribe, and till then I will see you for my next video. Cheers.